Okay, today I'd like to show you the voyage of Henry Sinclair from Scotland to Oak Island, or to New Ross, in 1398, in the Astronomy over Oak Island. This is looking east. You got to imagine yourself standing right on the money pit on Oak Island. This is the exact coordinates for the money pit on Oak Island. We're looking east. Okay, it is 8:50:51. The sun would be up. So this is a hidden trip that they put in the constellations to recognize um, Henry Sinclair's trip. They tell a story, these astronomers. I will discuss that in a little bit. Um, this is the summer solstice, okay, 6:21. As you know, the summer solstice was important to many cultures. The winter solstice, the equinoxes, they are important to Oak Island also. This is 1398. Now you see the position. This is sextants. Sextant's the sextant. Okay, position Hydra for a reason. Now this is a Johann Heble's constellation. This was placed in 1689. The funny thing is, if I go to 1689, it moves. Okay, from that time frame. The top of that is right to the east, and if I were to follow this through to the west, to the winter solstice, it would end up right on the W on the other side. And I can do that in another video. I want to talk about 1398. This is his voyage. Okay, like I said, 8:50:51. Sun is up. There's some significance to these numbers. Not only is it the same year that the map was published, the Vino map out of Venice by an anonymous person. That year was 1558. Okay, so there's significance in those numbers. Also, from the money pit to Roslin Chapel or Roslin Castle has a compass bearing of exactly 50.85. This is the exact bearing from the money pit to Roslin Castle or Roslin Chapel. Same thing, 50:85. Okay. Let's see here. The Julian date. Okay. This is very important also. As you know, 1398 is the date. Well, this is a play on those numbers. Okay, these last 6 digits of a Julian date only affect the hours, minutes, and seconds of the Gregorian calendar. Okay, they don't affect the year or the month, the day, or the year. Okay, this only affects the hours, minutes, seconds. So throughout this whole thing that they do, they adjust these to make it significant numbers for them and through the astronomy. Okay, 7698, 13. 7 plus 6 is 13. And then the 98 in that order. This happens at this time through the whole over 6 months. So that's important. We're going to talk about these after at the winter solstice, and I'll show you something. Okay, so let's start. Let's track Alphard. Okay, now Alphard and Canopus. This is Argos. Okay, Canopus is one of the brightest stars in the sky. The top 3 is the southern constellation. Argos is. It barely, the bow does reach above the horizon in the south. Then it sinks back down like a sinking ship. Okay, this is the hold of the ship. Okay, Hydra, another important constellation, has this cross section of a ship, part of the constellation, and Alphard is at the hold of the ship, the hull. Okay, I think this represents something that Henry Sinclair was bringing with him from Scotland to Nova Scotia. This represents that. Okay. Sextants is another important constellation of the island. This is the sails of the ship. Okay, you get positioned a certain way. This was put there by Johann Havlas in 1689. It was placed here on purpose for this. Okay, so let's go ahead and track Alphard. Keep an eye on Argos as we're making our journey from east to west. Let's track it across month by month. There's July 21st, August 21st, and now let's stop here halfway through the voyage on 9/21. 9/22 or 9/21 is the autumn equinox. This is halfway through. You'll notice that Sextans stopped with the base of Sexton to the south. This represents the Welling Triangle. If you're on the Money Pit looking directly south on the south shore, they found a sextant on the shore with large rocks in the form. Now this is turned this way for the sails. It would be this would be turned to the north. It would be turned down this way in this orientation, like the Welling Triangle, but they moved it this way for the sails of the ship. Okay, but this is the base and directly south of the Money Pit. Okay, let's continue on. Let's track Alphard again. October 21st, November 21st, and then you can see how it's definitely along the horizon here. And oops, the winter solstice. Okay, below the horizon. Okay, Sexton is just past the west. Now if I went to 1698 or 1689, sorry about that. As you can see, the sextant is right on W, and this is laying flat. So this tells you something that this was created after 1398. It was not created before 1398. This was set up after, long after the voyage of Henry Sinclair, to recognize his voyage from Scotland to Nova Scotia. Okay, this is where the way they intended to look, not like 1398. Okay, it's obviously past this point, right? But there is importance here. The Julian date, right here, a lot of 3s and 2s. The direct bearing from the Welling Triangle to, or the Money Pit, to New Ross Castle, which is 17.76 miles away. 1776, which is another play in the 1398. 13 is 76, 98 is 17. That is away from Oak Island, okay, but is at a bearing of 332 exactly. Okay, 332 degrees from the Welling Triangle or the Money Pit to New Ross is 332 degrees exactly. Thank you.